As of last week, I reviewed Horimiya season one and told the audience that I wasn't going to watch season two because I thought, quote unquote, it wasn't necessary. As a few days passed, I went and watched it anyway, and it changed my mind about some of the opinions I had. So I want to go back and really just talk about some of the opinions I want to change and what I thought about season two. So some opinions I said in the past video was I said that between Horimiya and Hori, it felt like more like a friendship at times than as lovers. As I watched season two, it opened my eyes of how much obsessed Hori really was over Horimiya, and it shows like how a good boyfriend he was. And this is what season one really lacked of, and I know it was just a fast pace, so that's what season two was really just filling in those parts that were skipped over basically. But I felt like it still could have been added, even if it was fast paced, or it didn't even have to go fast paced. Uh, During season one, I did talk about the same thing where every character basically got had their little arc, and that's what season two really opened up to as well. Is that some character or most of the characters, all the characters, I don't even know why I said some or most, all characters had their little arcs. We learned a little bit more about Remy's competitive side and how to get over people's heads. In the second episode, there was a sports day, and Hori and Remy were both doing a hurdle race. As Remy gets in Hori's head, saying, "If I win, I get me a more to myself."
He's watching, I'm gonna work extra hard.
Yeah, he wasn't cheering just for you.
If Remy wins, Miyamoto belongs to her.
It felt like times like this. It felt like times like this. I really didn't get to see this side of Remy, and I'm kind of glad I did. It really opened my eyes as a character who she really was. The second season also opened up to, as I talked about last episode of a review of this season one, I talked about that we didn't know much about Kyosuke's dad. In season two, we still don't know about Kyosuke's dad. We did get a 10-minute flashback of him in high school in the same high school that they go to now, as Son Goku's dad is the school president, and Kyosuke was the typical bad boy who gets all the ladies, but wanted only one, which was
He was as gentle as a flower, except this lily had a rose's thorns.
Hori's mom. It felt like this flashback wasn't necessary as we really still didn't learn much about Kyosuke or even Hori's parents at altogether. We still don't know what his job is to this day, and it felt like season one we figured that Hori's mom always worked doubles, and it felt like later on it seems like she was really never at work. Season two also opened up to another part of the thing as we learned a little bit more about Miyamoto's parents, but not enough to really know who they are. We know Miyamoto's parents also have a bakery, and what was mentioned in the last couple episodes. Why we never got to learn about them, I don't know. Another thing is that also questions is we never even seen Hori meet Miyamoto's parents. Do they even have they even met each other as Miyamoto met her whole family? As as I'm editing this now, I actually looked up when I get my clothes. I got it from the actual show from this app, and I actually ran across the webcomic series of Hori-san to Miyamura. And basically, it is a series of the webcomic that had so basically the same story. In one scene, as I was skipping through it, was Miyamura's mom actually found out about Hori because of Shindo. So I just wanted to point that out and give you all the upside of it. I should have done a little more research. I do apologize for that, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Uh, we also learned a little bit more about Yagami, who is a kid who's also graduating in the same grade as everybody, and who wants to take a beach trip when he gets his car. This talks like this is where it starts to get a little more real than as it is. He doesn't. It feels everybody was talking about how it feels like everybody's gonna not talk as much as they did after leaving high school, and as they promised they would. Another thing about the last episode was there are some parts about the graduation we missed. So we of course we don't have to sit through the speech again as a season 1 episode 13. We also get to see Miyamura sneeze during the president's speech, which also happened in Kyosuke. We also get to see that Hori invites Miyamoto for a sushi, Of course, we never get to see him eat sushi, but it just shows how much she really wants to spend time with him. In the last episode, she smells Miyamura for one more time just to see his scent was back, because he was wearing a hoodie the day before. Shindo's hoodie. I feel like I never talked a little bit more about Shindo. Shindo wasn't even really in season 2, so there was really not much to talk about. He was in Miyamura's middle school as a friend that Miyamura feels like it kind of despise, but if we just never really get to see much of Shindo. Shindo does have a girlfriend and accidentally texts Miyamura one day just thinking he was texting his girlfriend. Shindo is a goofy dude who can be somebody's great friend, and also him and his girlfriend seem like they have problems at times, but also seem like they're really close. Like I said, we really don't get to see much of Shindo, so. But as I'm speaking, Miyamoto and Hori go into an alleyway, and Hori sniffed Miyamura for the one last time in the series, saying his favorites or his scent is her favorite.
I mean, your scent is my favorite smell in the entire world, Miyamura.
As Miyamura comes in with a kiss. Season 2 opens up to a lot of kissing scenes from them two, and that's when it feels like more of a relationship. What season 1 really forgot to unwrap, or not forgot, but really just like forgot to do really was, it felt like I said in the last episodes, is that it didn't feel like a relationship, more as a friendship. But I'm glad that what season 2 did was open up a lot more. We learned a little bit more about how the rumors start about Miyamura's tattoos, as Son Goku tries to take off his shirt multiple times.
I left my cell. Whoopsie. I'll grab it real quick and leave you be. I just remembered.
I know that sounds pretty weird, but he was very curious of why Miyamura never takes off his shirt or never wants to swim. That's also what he thought about when Remy also spilled water on him and he didn't want to take out his outfit. Season 2 also opened up more school events. So the first episode of Season 2 was a field trip they took to another city. And that opened up a lot more because it felt like a real school. At times in Season 1, I forgot they were even in school. Because I say that is because it was just class, and then sometimes they wouldn't even go to class because they were at home, or, it was the weekend. But that's what Season 2 opens up for us. It opens a lot more of the story, and that's why I felt like I should have watched it beforehand to even make a review about this. As I make a review about this, Horimiya is never going to get a Season 3. Volume 17 was the last chapter the guy made, and as I read chapter 17, I didn't read it, but I did read some of it, and I did read a summary online. That's chapter 17, or volume 17, isn't even about Miyamura or Hori. It's about her little brother, Sota. And I felt like I never talked a lot about Sota, which Sota was he was a good character. I generally enjoyed him on screen. He just wasn't shown a lot later on in the seasons. But yeah, he's all grown up in high school, but no mention of Hori or Miyamura. There was a webcomic a long time ago about this before it was made into a manga. Hori and Miyamura actually get married and have one son. And I feel like that includes the story right there. Miyamura, Horimiya. I'm sorry, guys. That is the end. There will no longer be nothing else. But as we go through this journey of Horimiya and how much I love the show, that I couldn't get enough of the episodes, it's over and we're never going back to it. And that's okay. But if you guys enjoyed this review, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the next video.